This is a lesson on approaching your first piece with slurs. And the reason I'm making this video is that someone wrote in asking me to clarify the slur technique in the first duet in my Volume 2 method book. Now there's a link to the Volume 2 method book under this video. There's also a link to the actual duet performance I did with Natasha. So that duet performance, you can hear both lines going on with Natasha and myself playing. So this is the Menuet by Rameau. It's on page 14 of the Volume 2 method. And there's a number of ascending and descending slurs. So in guitar, ascending slurs are called Hammer-Ons in guitar lingo, and descending slurs in guitar lingo are called pull-offs. So let me play you the first line, and then let's take a look at the different slurs. So you'll notice the slurs in the piece from the little tiny slur mark that goes from one note to the next. Now this piece also has phrase marks which look the same, but they go over multiple notes. And so don't confuse the two. You can recognize the slurs in this piece because it just goes from one note to the next. And both ascending and descending slurs are used here. So the first thing that I would recommend you do is just practice the slurs on their own. So in bar 1, your first slur is G to F. So you need to practice doing that. That's a descending slur. So on a descending slur, you'll need both notes down in your left hand. You pluck the first one, and then with this finger, you're going to release it or give it a little bit of a pluck downward. Now, if you release it, you'll get a very soft second note. If you pluck it a little bit, you'll get a much more clarity and a louder second note. On electric guitar, you can just let go and the amplification kind of does it for you. But in classical or acoustic, sometimes giving that little bit of extra pluck really adds some nice clarity to the note. So I recommend doing a little bit of a pluck. There's various levels of in between, of just letting go or plucking downward. I recommend doing at least a little bit of the pluck because it'll give you some clarity. So bar 2 has another descending slur from F to E. So that you just play the F and then pluck the string into the open string. So just practice it on its own until you feel like you really have it in your muscle memory. The third bar has an ascending slur from E to G. So ascending slurs, it's very important that you have a good snap to your finger. Like it snaps into the string. It doesn't require strength. It just requires a nice snappiness to it. And just be really close to the fret. And you'll hear that second note. So you play the first note, and then you snap this finger into place. Make sure that you're not going too fast. Just because you're getting excited about the slur, keep it even. 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and... Keep the slurs at the same speed as the other eighth notes, right? One way, if you're having trouble getting a good snap, just try making a sound without plucking the note. That'll teach you how to throw your finger into the string to get a nice clear sound. The fourth bar has another descending slur from D to C. So you play the D, have both fingers down, and then do a little snap. You can see here, it almost looks like I'm doing a left hand rest stroke into the string below. That's because I just want that clarity in the second note. So let me play that first line one more time. Second line. So I think that gives you a good idea about how to approach this. Keep in mind that there's also a slur exercise at the end of the book. And that slur exercise, somewhere, is on page 87, or 86, that is. And in that exercise, it just goes through every combination. So that's 1, 2 ascending slurs, and then 2, 3 ascending slurs. And then 3, 4. And all the other combinations. Same thing for descending slurs. So it goes through all the different combinations of the slurs, and it does it at 5th position. And there's even some tab there just to help you out if you're not comfortable with 5th position reading. And that just allows you to go through all your combination of slurs. And there's also a video on that. If you go to my list of videos at the link where you get the book, and you can just watch the video on doing slurs. And if you're able to do slurs on their own, then you can definitely do it in the piece. And that's how technique should work. You practice a technique, prepare all the fingers for the various combinations of the technique that occur, and then you play a piece that uses that. And if you've done your technique practice, then the piece should be easy. The piece will not be the hard thing. The hard thing will be like doing your first slurs with the exercise. But if your exercises precede the piece, then whenever you play your pieces, you'll already be prepared for whatever comes up. So I hope that helps out a little bit with the first piece. It takes a long time to master your slurs, but practice that technique on its own. Use a metronome. Also listen very carefully to like how clear your slurs are, whether you want them more legato or more snappy. And that's just a personal choice depending on what piece you're playing. And then just keep practicing because you'll get it. Sometimes it takes students, 1 or 2 weeks to kind of get used to the idea and for their fingers to adjust, but you'll get there if you practice it carefully and slowly.